All right, good afternoon. Happy New Year. What we're doing is we are fixing our command system, and that should be our final fix here on Allie.Chat, and then we should be ready to push the final elements forward and then start a new project. So if you have any projects, if you have any questions, please put them into the chat. Thanks so much. No need to have a server to process it because you can use caching services a lot better as well. Interesting. So you've really migrated away from using anything with That's interesting. Well then, what are you using to host your static site? Right, I understand what you're saying. Have you made like an e-commerce site before? Like I feel like that requires more complex coding than what you can do just in a static. I mean, unless you really, really got deep with it. I agree. The robot always needs to see the same thing. So that's why at least I try to use server-side rendered stuff and then like a dynamic robots file. So that way it's always constantly getting the most accurate data. Denny Soft says, probably the 100th dude to say that, but happy New Year. May the 20s be the best decade for you. Thank you, man. I hope the same for you as well, Denny Soft. Okay. See, I have a couple of e-commerce clients that I help. So I think about them mostly when I'm working on my SEO stuff, and it's pretty easy to use the regular pages, and then I use Ajax. I mean, I use ASP.NET, right? And then I use Ajax to load things that I don't want the web crawler to hit, like maybe like any of the related categories and stuff, since that's always changing. And then I use a dynamic robots file that will go, and a dynamic sitemap that'll go through and figure out all the different URLs in the site and then keep it updated for the crawlers. That's at least how I manage the SEO stuff. So when I look at my features here, underneath dev for commands, it's called command sets. And when I look at this, it should have a table in it for stream command sets. So that is received here. And it's from an I command set, which needs to have a stream command sets count on it. So let's go and look at the other side of it. If I were to build an Amazon site, then much more server-side stuff would come into play. Plus, you can have an Angular app rendered server-side and sent to the clients. I know about that. I know about the Angular rendering server-side and then sending it over. And then when I learned about that, I said well, I would probably switch over and use ASP.NET for that because it's all server-side rendered, right? Okay, so when I look at my hub, which is in Web API app hubs, I should have a request command sets here. And this is getting this DTO here, array of DTOs of command set, which returns a integer of my number of stream command sets. So we can change that over here to be a number. And then on my HTML, we can just display that number. And we can try it again. Okay, so when I look at command sets, it's still not populating my stream command sets. So it streams with an S, command with a singular. Yeah, it's that. That's why. Try it again. And there it is. So it currently says that commands are not in any streams, but I don't think that's right. If I look at my commands in the stream, I can add in commands here and then go back and look at my command sets, and now it's 1. So that's working now. And when I look at commands here, this is no longer working. So inside of commands, under command set, I should have a new component that I'm referencing called app command sets, where I'm passing an ID. So over here, under shared components, command set commands. And when I look at this one, my number of replies is coming from command replies. So when you are getting your commands received here, iCommand should have a number of command replies. So where I'm looking at my get command sets. Oh no, this is get command sets commands. So it's just this. So when you're doing this request commands here, yeah, it's this one. This is now loading up DTOs, not VMs. So when I look at this, it's now got a command description and a command text. It doesn't need to have the command set. Oh yes, it does, to get the right ID. And then here, you can see it's getting the replies. But we don't need that in our case, because that's a different object. So we need a new command when we receive these commands here, which is going to be request commands and replies. And we'll call this a command VM. And so now when I'm in the service, it suddenly got really quiet out there. Where'd you guys all go? Right here, we're going to do this as a read commands and replies. And we're going to do a var command replies equals await context, not command replies dot where your command ID is equal to entity.id and it's active. And we want to do a toString asynchronous. and then we're going to map this over to be a VM. Like that. And I think that's going to be all you need to do. So let's try it again. Okay, we'll give it a login. Looks like it hiccuped. We'll give it another kick. Wrong app. Try it again here. Okay, you can go ahead and log in here. Okay, everything started up all right. When I look here at my command sets underneath commands, when I look at this VMs here, it does include a command set and a command reply, and it's showing what the replies can be. So let's try to edit this one. And that worked. Let's try to remove this. That worked. Let's do an edit here on the command. So after the command set saved, it didn't reload. So when I look at my features underneath command sets, that's going to link to the single command set, which goes to app command set commands, which is under shared. And then when you edited the command, you're setting loading to true. You're creating the command. Command create. You're setting your text box. And here's get commands. And you're setting loading to false. So it looks like that should be working fine. Let's try to remove it. We'll add one here. Call it time. When I look back at my commands create modal, my hold on, this doesn't look right. Edit command is going to launch this modal, which when it's done is going to launch a create command. Command create modal data. That looks right. That looks right. So command description here is not required. That's better. So now what I want to do is I'm just going to create a fake one here, and I'm going to save it, and that looks good. And then what I want to do is I want to look at my streams, and I'm going to remove both of these streams. Now it looks like when I'm removing a stream, when we do this remove stream, I want to do a this.loading equals true. Okay, it looks like it's doing add stream success twice. I wonder why it's firing twice there. So we're going to add a, down here when this finishes, if it is not loading, then we want to do this. We have one for Discord, Twitch, WebSocket, and TCP. I'm going to go ahead and add a new stream here. Yeah, see, it added it twice. So let's try it again. I tried to add the stream as many times as I could click it, right? So we're going to have a new is deleting stream, which is a Boolean. And so down here, when you do the remove stream, you're going to say, and if it is not deleting the stream, now you're going to say it is. And then here we can say this dot is deleting stream equals false. And you need to do the same thing for creating stream. So we're going to say is stream transaction active. And you can do the same thing here. And this dot is stream transaction is not active. Like that. So in this case, you're going to go to cart. In this case, you can set this to be false. And otherwise, you're going to navigate to it, the new one. We'll try it again. It's still trying to add it like 12 times. And it only did it twice. It's because you're in the wrong one. You want to be in stream, and you want to have a is stream transaction active is a Boolean. And this dot stream is stream transaction active equals false when you receive it. This dot, no. So if all of this stuff is true, else if my this dot is stream transaction active, so if it's not active, then here we can do a this dot is stream transaction active equals true, and then you're going to create it, and then anytime that you get it, you're going to set it to false. Did it break? Come on here. feel like something broke on the back end. Oh, no, it kicked. Okay, we need to fix that as well. So streams here. Let's go back and delete this one. And when you delete one, you want to do a this.loading equals true. Okay. So now when we come in here and we do a bunch of these, it should only do one. And it did only do one. Okay. And I'm going to call this new stream name. And it should save it. Okay. We're going to add a route in here, which will be inbound from Twitch. It'll be outbound to Twitch. Inbound from here and outbound from here. I want to add a new route in here for our WebSocket bot. And then I'm going to create one here for the outbound on the WebSocket bot. We're going to add a new inbound from the TCP server. We're going to address this Z layer on loading elements. Okay, and then our final route is we're going to have an inbound and an outbound from Discord. That Z layer is annoying. And so in Discord for our inbound, I'm going to choose the stream chat. And for outbound, it should redirect me to do an OAuth for a WebSocket or a web, what do you call it? A webhook to Pixel Horror Studios stream chat. So now, one thing I want to do is I want to look at my currencies here and see why streams active is not returning anything. So we should have a request currencies. Which is returning this DTO, which includes a nothing to do with that count. So in here, I'm going to create a new model, and I'm going to call it a currency stream currencies. And we'll call it a response. And this is a currency DTO. And in this one, I want to add this currency name, currency description, current stream currency count. Stream currency count. And then here, we're going to make a new one of these, which returns a currency stream interesting. Interesting. So instead of doing it this way, we're going to have to do it the long way and go through here. And if I open my library up and I look at my DTOs here for currencies, I want to add in here a new integer for my stream currency count. And this is going to be the number of streams the currency is registered to. And we're also going to add that onto my view model for currencies. Fallen Hope says, let's pick up a topic of discussion. Microservices or cloud computing, AWS versus Google Cloud versus Azure or other. What's your favorite? I use AWS. I think Keith uses AWS as well. Okay. There's nothing else we need to add on here, just that. And now when I look at my properties here, we're going to up it by 1.1.6, and we're going to go ahead and push this out. To NuGet. .1 Allie.Chat lib 1.1.6. Okay, so now we need to have that here in my TCP package. We need to up this one to be 4. we need to up the, oh, sorry, wrong package. Pardon me. On my TCP package, I need to up this to be a 13. On my Web API package, I need this to go up to a 10. On my WebSocket package, I need this to go up to a 10. And on my auth package, I need this one to go up to a 9. Okay, on TCP, for my NuGet spec, this is now going to be a 6. Same thing on this one. Same thing on this one. And now my Web API auth here is going to be a 10. And we can rebuild that. Do you use shared hosting, VPS, or cloud? What about local hosting? I have some stuff that's locally hosted here. I use my AWS stuff as a reverse proxy for that stuff. I use an EC2 instance for my hosting. I don't use any of their managed solutions. And then I have a RDS relational database service SQL server in there. And I have a Elasticache instance and a DynamoDB. I think I'm only using the DynamoDB instance at the moment. And then I also use AWS for their simple email service. Yeah, they're a little pricey, which is annoying. Okay, so now when I look at my TCP here, it's not quite updated yet. But we can continue forward. If I look at my commands here, we can up this one to be 5. And on it, my dependencies for, oops, I don't want to do this one yet. If I look at my commands core, we want to up this one to be 4. And then if I look at the NuGet packages on this, Allie.Chat Web API is now 10. And on core auth, we can up this to be a 3. And that NuGet package will be a 4. And my Web API auth will be a 9. Okay, we only have a few left in here to do. These TCPs, core, and commands. We'll do that in just a minute. So when I look here at my TCP one, Fallen Hope says, "You're the best." Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. You are the best, too. Okay, let's just keep going then. On this TCP one, we're going to up this to be a 4. And then we want to change my Allie.Chat TCP here to be a 13, right? Because it got upped. Yeah. And then a 1.0.4 on the core. For auth, we want that to be a 4. And then we want this to be a TCP of 13 and the core auth of 3. And then we have this WebSocket one here, which is a 4, with a NuGet package here of WebSocket goes to 10 and commands core goes to 4. WebSocket auth goes to 3. And then my NuGet package here goes to 10 and a 3. And then finally we have this one, commands, which goes to a 5. And that one's going to have a 4, 4, 4, and a 3. And we're going to go ahead and rebuild this. All right, I found a lib from auth0 that does JWT decoding. Yeah, there's a couple of them out there. I think there's just a JWT package for on NuGet that Microsoft puts out. I thought, yeah, they're a little pricey. I'm poor, Rob. Poor. I live in Canada. We spend all our money on our military and useless crap. Well, you didn't vote Donald Trump president. Okay. So now we're going to look at my TCP one here. And there it is, up to 1.6. So we'll up it. And then rebuild that one. And then I'm going to push it out. And that's going to be a NuGet pack. And that is built into .NET Core. I'm talking about Angular. I want to read claims. Well, that's why I use Identity Server, right? So Identity Server manages all of that stuff. I get to use all of those great .NET libraries. Pardon me. And then it populates my claims for me, and I can just use like an OIDC plugin. But I think the OIDC plugin, when you want to get claims, you should just issue there's a built-in request usually for getting the user. You can get user identity and then user information. So I think user information is the one that you're looking for. Yeah, I figured you know exactly what you're doing. Fallen Hope. Yeah, right. Yeah, they care about us dev streamers, man. Let me tell you. Okay, I'm going to push this one out. Allie.Chat TCP 1.1.13. Okay, the next one is this web API. I'm going to push this one out. And the next one is going to be the WebSocket one. Oh, shoot. So Web API, I didn't update my dependency. So we're going to see if that breaks or not. I don't think it should. And then on WebSocket, we're also going to update our dependency. And then I'm going to do a NuGet pack on WebSocket. And then we're going to push out that one. I'm talking about client-sided JW2 that holds all that information. No need for more calls. Yeah, that's the same thing I'm talking about. When you do the OIDC thing, you should receive like an identity token, right? And then you send the identity token to the user authorization, and then that should return your list of claims. So then you can like store it if you want, like, because I'm sure you're using Mongo, right? So you can just store that for each client and then reference it. But I think it's initially populated when you get your JWT token from whatever you're using to authorize. So in here, we're going to look at my commands core. And we need to wait for this one to finish here. Okay, almost done here. This Web API one, and then also PHS Core is fine. Come on here. So if I look at the NuGet store, we can check to see how much it matters that I wait with this next one, because Web API didn't have the most recent package when I did it. Looks like it should be done. There it is, 1.10. And then we want to do the same thing on this one here, on this Web API auth. When I look at this, my dependency has the 1.1.6, which is what's in Web API 110, which is 1.1.6. So it doesn't matter. Okay? So what that means is that we can come back in here and we can go to my Web API package, cd Allie.Chat.WebAPI.auth, and I should just be able to do a NuGet pack on that, and then push that out. Web API.auth 1.1.9. And then I should be able now to just come over here and do these ones. So let's start with the cd Allie.Chat.Commands .core. I'm going to pack that one up and push out this one. Commands.core.1.0.4. Which means I should be able to push out this core auth. Allie.Chat.Commands.core.auth NuGet pack. Which means I should be able to push out this TCP one. TCP.1.0.4. Okay, you have this commands TCP auth one. Okay, the next one is this WebSocket one. And this is in commands.websocket.1.0.4. And then the same thing again with the auth one. Oh man. Which is new, okay, commands websocket.auth 1.0.3. And that means that now I'm on core here. So that's, or just commands, cd Allie.Chat.Commands, NuGet pack. And then I'm going to push out this one, Allie.Chat.Commands. .1.0.5. And then our very last one here is this one, which is 17. And my TCP auth is going to be 4. Sorry, commands is going to be 5. WebSocket is definitely 10. Web API auth was 9, right? And TCP was 13. Okay, we're going to rebuild everything. I'm going to push the last package. Which is 1.0, 1.1.17. Okay, that's done. And now before I write all that to my GitHub repository, I need to, oh, come on, don't crash on me. Yeah, that's fine. So now before I push that out to my NuGet repository, I need to make sure my test apps and everything are updated. So we're going to go to my manage NuGet packages for the solution. We'll just go look at update. And we'll just start updating these things. Oops. That was the wrong one. Okay. And so now when I look at these things, it's almost all done. We have a few more that need to get processed here. Like commands TCP, I bet this one's not done yet. 1.0.4, that looks right. Commands here. 1.0.5. Oh, there we go. And then the last one you have is this last 17 one, which is almost done. And if I look over here at the NuGet package library, if I look at the Allie.Chat, this thing is almost done. Any moment here. There it is. And then I can update these two. And we can do an edit publish. And then I'm going to push this one out to my Allie.Chat. We're going to say that we updated our currency view model and push to NuGet. And I'll push that out. And now I'm going to do a tag on that and put that to version 1.1.17.0. Okay, we can close this project up. And now when I go back over here, I'm going to look at everything in here and do an update on all of my Allie.Chat ones. Come on, load faster. Oh, come on. Okay, Allie.Chat Web Auth, Allie.Chat WebSocket, Allie.Chat Web API. Allie.Chat TCP, Allie.Chat lib. Okay, we're going to do an update on all of those. And then we're going to look at what's installed and make sure we updated everything. What happened to your Twitch, A Fallen Hope? Come on. Everything looks updated. Just a few more packages. Okay. So that looks good. So now when we receive my currencies down here and I have my currency DTO, I want to do this as a var DTO. And then I want to do a DTOs.add my DTO. And you want to do a DTO.stream currency count equals await context.streams currencies dot where my currency ID is equal to entity.id and it's active. And you want to get a count asynchronous. Like that. And we'll give it another run. Back over here. We finished that. Public is good. Okay, let everything start up. Let's go ahead and now do a login. It should kick through and hit my authorization server unless I have too many of these things started. I do. We'll just run it again. Okay, we're going to log in. Looks like it hung. Kick it through. And this time when I look at my command sets, it tells me the number that they're in there and any of these replies if I have any, which I don't. If I look at my streams, or if I look at my currencies, it'll show me the number of streams where these currencies are active. So for example, so on this one we want to say changing. Oh, I think it does actually. So if we said that we do have commands and we add this one in, and then we do say we have currencies, and then we add this one in, now it says 1 and it says 1. So when you do this one, you also want to include a stream and a currency, because you also want to say your stream.isActive and your currency is active, like that. Okay, the only last thing that I want to do is I want to test commands. One second. What was it that I just said? Oh, Keith, God, I love Mongo. So that. So our logout's currently not working. We need to look at what's going on with that. We need the exclamation point currency to work. This all looks fine. Everything looks like it's working now. Wait a minute. When we went to this currency singular page, when it was loading, you want to do a diff.loading equals false. And then your currency count number streams active. And this came from iCurrency. So you do have a stream currency count on here. So you're going to do this VM here. And you want to do it from the stream currency counts, like that. So we have very few things remaining to do. One thing is when you register an account, we need to get our email sender sent up. Well, hold on one more second here. Let's just finish up checking this. Then we're going to send a test message to the channel. Come on. I know it wants to connect. There we go. And we'll say test message 1. And we should see that output here into the channel. There it is. So that's good. And now, if I look at my currencies, my streams active is 1. If I look at my command sets, this is good. It shows me my number of commands. And we're almost done. So let me close this and open up my app here. And we're going to say that we got the corrected commands, command sets, and command replies, and a couple other bugs. And we'll push that out. So I only got a little bit left to do. One thing that I need to do is check in production why the logout isn't working. I'm going to take a look at the database and see if I can't fix that there. We need to have it so that when you do the prefix and then the currency name, that it will report the amount of currency that you currently have. That's just a couple of minutes, so we'll probably finish that up, I don't know, tomorrow, today. There's some documentation I need to finish, and that's something I'll do offline. We need to add one little thing to our client application page, which is that if you don't have enough client applications and you try to add a new one, then it should take you to the cart. We have a weird Z layer happening on our loading elements, which we were going to take a quick look at. And then finally, we wanted to make sure that when we were sending over commands, that they were getting routed appropriately to the appropriate channels. Last time I saw that the trigger to make a command happen was firing, but it was not coming into the channel, but the command was. So I'm out of time. Thank you guys for staying with me today. If you have any questions, make sure you put them into our chat at discord.pixelhorrorstudios.com. Also, I put all these videos up at youtube.pixelhorrorstudios.com. So thanks again for staying with me, and have a great rest of your day and a happy new year. I'll see you guys next year. Alrighty, bye.